Johnny, peace.
Hey, yes, very good. Here we are on tonight. This is John Gums, Dakota Grappler. We are here to talk some wrestling tonight. We got a 4-person panel tonight that's going to talk wrestling both for North and South Dakota. Our representative from South Dakota tonight is John Silvernail. He is a young, upcoming coach from the town of Parker, South Dakota, and I'm hoping a lot of people get on and check out what he's doing to promote the sport down there. It's really coming on. Great program. On the other side, on the bottom, we got our veteran coach in the corner. It's Randy Berwick. He's been around since dust, and he's a good friend of mine also, who I tell you what, he'd be a mentor for anybody. He loves the sport and really has kept it going in small communities and can give some advice to most anybody in the sport of wrestling. He's held about every position. His boy is his second year at Wisconsin, and I just saw him do kind of a live thing like this with his coach the other night, and I was impressed. Another one we could talk a little bit tonight. And up on the top with me is Bill. Bill's my right-hand man, who I just love having on the show, and he can actually do the same thing with me. He does so much for the sport in the background, and he just loves it. In fact, I tell you what, he's the only guy that probably watches more Flow than me. I don't know that I know, but I tell you what, we have 15 people on. Anybody that's out there tonight, this is Dakota Grappler Live. Feel free to subscribe over on YouTube. Share this so we can get a ton of people. We get lots of views as it goes, both Facebook and YouTube. I am on Twitter. We have the website, Dakota Grappler, and I haven't done a lot on there. We still have a message board. It's at wrestlingmessageboard.com, but feel free. That's a place where people can put anything. I keep everything for free on Dakota Grappler because that's what I do. It's kind of promotion for the sport, and honestly, it's what's best for the sport. So feel free to ask any questions. You can contact me at john.gums@dakotagrappler.com, or you can do dakotagrappler@gmail or john.gums@gmail.com. Again, Bill, introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll go around and have them introduce themselves.
Yeah, Bill Holton here from hailing from the Carrington, North Dakota area. Just a big wrestling fan. Been a wrestler, a coach, a fan, a parent, wrestling parent, did kind of all that stuff. And now I'm pretty much just mostly a fan and try to help out whenever I can. I just love to promote the sport and talk about it. That's kind of what I really like to do. So good to hear what these guys have to say tonight. It's always good to hear what Randy has to say.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
You too, Bill.
No, oh yeah, and I'm proud. Last times I had my dad on, Randy was with too. You got to talk to him.
It was a pleasure of mine. It was an honor. Actually, to be on with your dad.
Well, that was actually pretty cool, and I treasure that moment. I definitely do.
I do too.
So, Randy Berwick, let's introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, Randy Berwick here at Hettinger High School. Hey, Billy, I'm hoping to get a dual meet set up with Carrington this year. That's going to be awesome. I hope we can get up there and get an opportunity to come up and wrestle with you guys up there. That's going to be, I'm hoping, Josh and I have been throwing some things around. We kind of talked about, we'll talk a little more here. Hettinger High School, been here this is my 31st year here. I've been coaching wrestling 37 years now. Hey, wrestling's my life. It's been my life since I was young, and it's going to continue to be in my blood and be with me. I don't know how long, man. I'm just having fun. It was a great day today. We had some kids rolling around, get back in the practice room. It was actually, you can't do any coaching, right? Yep. So I got to stand in there and I got to watch. I'm kind of looking, and guys are trying to kill each other, and I'm like, dudes, just relax here right now. And but it was such a sight to see. It was actually one of those things where you just kind of relax. Because it was like, yeah, this is right. This is right. These guys are in here. They're scrapping. They're sweating. They're working their tails off. They're having fun. It was just great for me. John, I know you're young, but man, fall in love with it and just let it consume everything you have. There you go.
Okay, and John, he's our 31-year-old, so he's around. That's just as long as you've been coaching down at Hettinger.
Thanks, Randy. I am John Silvernell, coach at Parker High School. It's my 7th year as the head coach here. 2 years of experience. Before that, I guess you could say, so 9 years total. Love wrestling. I also coach football. Love coaching football too. Just love interacting with kids. Trying to grow this great sport, whether it's at an international level or just trying to bring a girls program to Parker, I'm into growing wrestling, man. So I love it all.
Right on. Right
Well,
on, man.
that's one big thing South Dakota did. They did proclaim that girls is an official sport. It's sanctioned in the state of South Dakota, which is a big step. They were, I think, the 25th state, if I remember right exactly, to have it. North Dakota hasn't sanctioned it yet. We have had an unofficial state tournament the last few years for them, but until we have a certain number of schools, it'll be sanctioned. I think we're actually close. Girls wrestling is definitely growing in the state too. But
yeah, I think I'll just piggyback on that.
Yes.
I think this is going to be a probationary year. I just talking to Kevin, I do believe we'll have it ready next year.
Okay.
I think they're ready. They're just going to get on board, just like South Dakota, man. I'm super excited for South Dakota, man. Yeah. I'm super excited for you guys, man.
Okay. Well, one of the big things that I'm going to talk about right away is what the recent news is. Now, I was at a wrestling meeting last night for the Bismarck Century Wrestling team. And of course, the first speech is always from the athletic director and how we have to be COVID safe and everything else, because that's always the biggest topic. So right now in Class A wrestling, they have canceled all tournaments in North Dakota. If you guys don't know that, all the Class A tournaments on the western side of the state, at least, have been canceled. And what they've decided right now is a dual schedule. Now, the dual schedule has not been finalized. They kept all the dual dates for the original, let's say, West region, the WDA, but everything else is still up in the air, and they are really trying to work out mini duels and basically like a triangular. They don't want to have quads, which is kind of interesting. But what it did now is, if I look at the schedule, it's wiped out pretty much every weekend for a wrestler. So I was joking with some of my kids, and I said, "You it's the perfect year to learn how to ice fish and get out there." But the coaches are going, "No, we're going to wrestle on the weekends." But I was thinking to myself, "No, I don't know."
Yeah.
But honestly, what's happening here is, I think they're going to try to get groups together and try to do a little round robin. I couldn't imagine just doing straight duels and trying to get ready for the year, because you'd have some of your best wrestlers. Let's say you take
Reese Barnhart.
Perfect example right there, who would go into a duel, pin a kid in 30 seconds, and then have to work a kid and tech fall him just to get a workout. Yep. And that's if in a duel they decide to wrestle him. They could avoid, they want to get a duel win, because St. Mary's will be on the edge this year of making that duel. Sure. And I guarantee somebody like a Legacy, if they didn't have a good matchup and they could avoid, take one of their better wrestlers and move away, it would happen. And so some of your best wrestlers might get, 20 wins going to the state tournament, but they've had 10, 12 matches. And that wouldn't be right. We got to try to get these guys matches, and wrestling their coaches just ain't enough sometimes to get them there. I don't know. So that's kind of the main update. Century is doing their best in the West region. I know they're going to do their best. And right now we're in a kind of a crucial zone where we're in orange in the Bismarck-Mandan area, where other parts of the state, such as like Jamestown, is green. Dickinson and other places, they're not at that orange level. And the orange is right before red, which they actually stop distance learning. They stop everything in the state. And we're kind of at that crucial range where we need this COVID to settle down a little bit as the season starts. And, I think it's more fear than anything as an athletic director. I don't want to put the blame completely on them. They want to keep everybody safe. And we want to do what's best for everybody. But we also have to evaluate as it goes. One quick thing that they had mentioned, that wrestling's an impact sport, but it's at the high risk level they consider. And they don't consider basketball at a high risk level. And I almost wanted to debate them for the fact that, guess what? We're in contact with somebody from anywhere from 30 seconds to 6 minutes.
Right.
And they
person.
One person. Exactly. And then guess what? A basketball game lasts how long? And you're guarding the same person the whole game. It's not like they're going to switch it up and take their center and start guarding a guard with them.
No, they're not.
and it's not that they're going to play zone and stay off of people. They bump and they push and they do everything else just like any other sport. And they're in closer contact remember how they changed this thing about being around somebody for 15 minutes for a complete day now? Guess what? They're now subject to way more things. Yeah. They talked about wearing masks, and they haven't mandated anything like that. I could see that if you're sitting in the stands and waiting for things, but you can't wrestle with a mask. You couldn't. It's physically impossible. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. I know that they were talking about maybe staggering practices if they had to, but they haven't decided that yet, where you could take your smaller guys, and then this would be a coaching and logistic nightmare.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
And as a coach, you couldn't handle it where you have to go practices from 4 till 10 at night, doing 2-3 practices, split your team apart and do other stuff. Bus rides and doing all the other things, wearing masks on bus, I could understand all that. But guess what? You're close as a team all year. This might as well be your quarantine team, and you're with each other. Yeah, and that's who you got to limit your access to as your friends. I'm sorry, but your parents. This is one of those talks you say, guess what? Where's the COVID coming? It's probably coming from the parents going out and doing other things. And that's the place where we really have to watch it. So I know that's a little long for me to start this off,
that's good.
But what do you think on your side, Randy? I know the Class A has done some stuff. What is Class B doing now for their tournaments and their duels?
Okay. Yeah. I've been in contact with Luke and Lars up there, Legacy, and the thing about it is what we had a region meeting this morning, and we're pretty much, we're going to try and do. Obviously, there has been some tournaments that we are in, like the Mandate Lions tournament. Mm-hmm. That's always the first tournament we go to. So now that was canceled for us. So what we're doing as far as the region, what we talked about is, and I think Region 1 and Region 2. I don't think Region 3 has really discussed anything yet. But what we wanted to do, what we basically decided to do is we're going to keep our schedule as far as our dual meets. So if we were scheduled to duel or a triangular with Bowman County and Kildare, we're going to keep that on the schedule. We are going to look at having our tournaments. We discussed some things as far as like, let's say we have a tournament at Kildare High School, taking and basically going, they have 2 gymnasiums, as do we, taking 2 gymnasiums and going 106 to 145. They'll wrestle in this gym, and then 152 to heavyweight, they wrestle in this gym. I know it's crazy, but we're going to have to try and figure out ways that we can get our kids in the gym and we can get our kids wrestling. We are looking at, I visited with my athletic director today, and I said, these Class A teams and I know in the West region, they're gonna go to their region duels, but they are now allowing them to pick up some Class B teams from that area of the state. So it's kind of nice. I want to get a duels lined up with St. Mary's, with Bismarck Legacy, Bismarck Century. I don't care. Dickinson High. We've dueled them in the past for years. Watford City. I want to basically, if that's what we're going to have to do, we're going to pick everything up that we can. Okay. But as far as tournaments go, I mean, that's going to be based on what our athletic directors decide to do. We're going to try and keep our schedule as normal, I guess, as we can. Right. And, go from there.
Here, let's pop. Mitch Greenwood has a question here, and he says, Randy, with tournaments going away or getting much smaller, have you heard anything about the North Dakota High School Activities Association allowing teams to add more similar events such as duels and tries? I don't think they've changed the weigh-ins. I heard that last night, the total number of weigh-ins, and I think that should be a flexible rule, because I honestly think if you can't go to a tournament and get 5-6 matches and you count a single duel as a weigh-in, it doesn't mean the same. I'm sorry, but wrestling, that would hurt the sport. So I'm hoping they can be a little flexible this year, just like we have to be.
Well, and that's a great question, Mitch. And I visited with Kevin about that. And they had their board meeting, and they are not going to allow us any more than our 16 weigh-ins. We are going to have our 16 dates. And their reasoning behind it, and I asked Kevin why, and their reasoning is because they want to limit the contact instead of giving more opportunities for more contact. And in a perfect world, we get it. We totally understand it. And that's, I guess Kevin and I visited a little bit about that. So, in this situation, you hit it right on the head, John. I felt like there should be some flexibility. I kind of proposed to Kevin. I said, maybe we look at 20 weigh-ins.
Right.
If we got, to get 20 dual meets is a tough thing to do. It really is.
Right.
But at least it gives you the opportunity to get 20 dual meets. 16 dual meets. If you look at, we look at Reese Barnhart again.
Mm-hmm.
You hit it right there again. Reese Barnhart might wrestle 16 dual meets and get 6-8 matches.
Right.
I told Luke, I said, you guys come down here. We're wrestling Reese Barnhart, man. I want everybody to see Reese Barnhart on the mat.
Right.
I want everybody to see him. And I've got guys that are like, Coach, I'll wrestle him. And you know what? That's exciting. But I think to answer that question, the state is not going to give us any more weigh-ins. We are going to be, we're at our 16 weigh-ins and we get no more.
I want to figure out if this is going to hurt the best wrestlers more than it's going to hurt our worst wrestlers. Because here's what happens. If you can't keep the interest of your wrestlers and keep them on the mat, why are they out for the sport? And that becomes interesting because wrestling's always had a pride factor that, guess what, I'm going to get you some matches, no matter if you're A squad, B squad, JV, middle school, it doesn't matter. We're going to try to find you some matches. And this is going to limit that because guess what? If you want to get some of your main guy matches, you're going to have to avoid some of your other guys because it makes no sense. One guy has, unless they change the rule where, guess what? You have you're not supposed to wrestle an exhibition match before a duel or after a duel. I would say after a duel. Why don't you allow some of those varsity wrestlers to wrestle some exhibition matches? Because it doesn't matter toward the duel and you want to get them more. It's just like wrestling a try or something. But guess what? They got 3 126-pounders. Your guy needs matches. He's got to wrestle the duel, but they've got 2 more. Why not let them wrestle 2 exhibition matches? That's the flexibility we need to allow.
Well, and also we can wrestle 5 matches in a day. I mean, so I think that's a great thing because you know what? If you wrestle your varsity duel, it's done. Hey, I've got 2 extra matches. That kid wrestles 3 times and walks out the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
And
and we can wrestle 5 matches in a day. I'm all in favor of it.
Well, I don't know the people that qualify for the duel at state. Imagine doing duels and individual and trying to be in shape mentally and physically for a tournament when you haven't had any of those all year. Yep. It's going to be a new coaching. It's going to have new motivation. There's so many levels that this is bringing it to.
Yeah. Agreed. It's going to be, we have to, as coaches, I mean, we're going to have to think outside the box big time. And, I'll be honest with you. I'm super excited about it because I think, I would love to come to Carrington. I would love to come to Carrington and wrestle.
Yeah, I hope you do. I
do too. I want to, and my AD is all on board. He's like, dude, you want to go wrestle Carrington? We'll load the bus up and you go to Carrington.
Well, I tell you what, if it's on a weekend, if I'm free, I'm there.
I think you can give our kids some great opportunities. Just think about it. Here I'm taking some of my guys and all of a sudden we get a duel with Bismarck Legacy in their atmosphere. Hey, how cool would that be? Mm-hmm. We're coming up. We're going to scrap, man. We're going to scrap. I don't care. Go ahead.
Well, here's the only other issue that we're having now being Orange is they're limiting a space to 50 people.
Yep.
And that meaning that sometimes some of the teams are not going to be able to bring their fans.
Yeah.
So at least in the West region, we have the capability for most schools. Now they're not saying all where it can be streamed. So at least people can watch them. Now, some people have like streaming from a 1986 mobile phone that you pulled out and have no capability of watching it. And then you have others that are up on the top of the rafter and you're just watching from above, which doesn't help wrestling much. And then you have some, of course, that don't allow commentary or can't have. So there's logistics that I would like to talk to some people about doing some stuff live, you know, and guess what? I'll social distance myself and talk these duels. I might be busy every night of the week to try to get some stuff online because
we'll bring you down. We'll bring you down, man.
Some of the Class B schools are not going to have the opportunity to get this stuff online. I have stuff as long as we have an internet connection. I can pretty much go live and we can talk about wrestling and do what's best to promote the sport.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
If we got to just logistics from the from the athletic directors. They're the ones holding anything back. And I understand safety, so I don't want to get on them so much, as much as they could be the fall guy.
Yeah.
What can you do? You got to do.
I'm interested to see what John has to say about what's happening in South Dakota, because
yes,
we do wrestle some. We obviously Hardin County is close to us, and we go to the Rapid City Invite and those types of things. So I'm excited to hear what you guys kind of talked about a little bit down there in South Dakota, John.
Okay, fire away, John.
So we haven't really heard anything yet, as in like concrete news. Some of the stuff that's trickled down to us is how many mats you can hold determines how many teams you might have in your gym. So say, for instance, our tournament, we can have 3 mats going, so 2 teams per mat, so we can have 6 teams there. That's kind of trickling down. So that doesn't eliminate our Saturday tournaments or anything like that. So if you were able to hold 4 mats, you get 8 teams. 5 mats, 10 teams. 6 mats, 12 teams. I believe the number that's going to be capped at is probably going to be 12 teams is what we're going to be capped at. Now, there might be some situations where you're not able to fill all the weight classes, so possibly be able to bring in like a team of a short number of team, so a team that has maybe 6 wrestlers. So it's kind of fluid. I believe November 4th, we find out for sure, maybe November 5th.
That's at Tom Schoenhardt said. Yep.
So we're going to get the information from the South Dakota High School Activities Association. I can't thank Dan Swartos enough. He's our executive director. That guy loves wrestling. That guy
with a wrestler. Yep.
Cares about wrestling. He works for wrestling. He does a great job. John Krogstrand, he's assistant executive director. He cares about wrestling. He wants the best for wrestling as well. But my activities director, Dr. Donovan DeVore, he's on the advisory committee. We got a lot of people in South Dakota that love wrestling, care about wrestling, and want wrestling to be in the forefront. And my AD is an old basketball guy, coach basketball at Stevens forever. And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people going to bat for us, and it's awesome that we're going to have a season. I'm super thankful for it, and I really hope that we take advantage of it and we do the right things to make sure that we can keep this thing going as long as we possibly can. So kind of a muddled answer there for you, Randy. I apologize, but
no, that's good.
What I've heard so far. So.
Okay. Yep.
Well, perfect. So what are you hearing, Bill, out there college-wise and high school up in your area?
Well, most of what I hear from on the high school side is from you guys right here. I mean, this is, I've learned a lot tonight, and I think that this could be some great opportunities to go ahead and stretch our legs a little bit and go out and bring a team like Hedinger into Carrington, and then bring a team like Pembina County North in from the other side of the state. Yep. When would you guys ever get a chance to duel without
exactly
except for the state tournament? So I think it's a great opportunity. I don't know, I have no idea what our administration is thinking or how they're working, but obviously we have the Carrington duels every year just before our Carrington tournament, the Al Larson Memorial Tournament, and that's been great. I talked to Corey Shaw, at the golf outing this summer and said, hey, you guys need to come to the tournament. We already duel Oaks every year. It's the first duel of the year for us. But some of these other schools, Minot comes every year for the duels, and so it gives a chance. Yeah, if you could come in and get Minot to come and get Pembina County North to come, and I think Lisbon maybe was planning on coming too. So there could be some great opportunities to. And we have 2 gyms. We got enough mats. If we had to, we could put another match going on over in our wrestling. We have a offsite wrestling facility that wrestling club owns. We could really spread them out. So, as far as the college side, I think on Division II, they are limited to 16 dates. So, there's no tournaments, it'll be regionals and nationals, and that'll be it. So those schedules really are not out yet. I think that's got to be a nightmare for these coaches trying to get that all set. But, we're hoping, I might be wrong. It might be 12 dates. I think it's 12. So, it's
Well, I think
right in there, but
I can tell you at Wisconsin, it's going to be 11 dates.
Yeah. I think D2 is 12 dates.
Yeah.
I was thinking 16, but it's usually about 16. Yeah, I think 12 dates. So, I'm hoping we can get to duel everybody in the NSIC. This is one of those years where we're not going to get to duel Concordia or Dickinson. It's St. John's. It's going to be, we're hoping to get everybody into the NSIC. So
if they finalize anything with Wisconsin, Wise is going to stay within the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's exactly what they're looking at. John is they're going to wrestle a Big Ten schedule. They're going to wrestle the way it sounds. Just visiting with Kyle and Coach Bono a little bit is they're going to have 2 home duels, 2 away duels, and then the rest of everything that they do is going to be either triangulars or quadrangulars, and then obviously their Big Tens and then their national tournament. Is what they're looking at Wisconsin.
Could be some great opportunities for some great viewing there, isn't it? Go to some of those Big Ten tries or Big Ten quadrangulars. So
it's going to be fun.
Kind of exciting.
Yep.
I know that Northern State. I know that Rocky was looking at trying to put together some triangulars. Also, trying to figure out a way to get these guys some matches and. It'll be, the other big news, I guess we haven't talked about on here yet, but it's the same on D1, but D1, D2, this does not count as a year towards your eligibility.
Yep.
So this is, no, I don't think it's going to affect Billy's situation. This is number 5. And I think we're probably running out of classes to take, and he'll have a couple bachelor's degrees and a master's degree and,
perfect.
And probably looking to go to work somewhere, but
6 and 7 year seniors now.
I would. Well, I mean, you still got a chance, right? We got the opportunity right now for a couple 5-time national champions.
Yep.
Spencer Lee still got a chance for a 4-timer.
Yep.
Kyle's got a chance for 5.
Yanni's got a chance for 5.
So
I hate to be on the other end of that.
Yeah. So it'll be. It'll be. There's going to a lot of weird things happening, I guess, but it'll be fun. We're going to see some things we didn't ever think we'd see, I guess, and hopefully we get the season started right, like we think we're gonna. Now, on the college side, they will not start competition until January 1. They're not starting a regular season like the high school guys are. Now, I will say, I heard some kind of scary stuff today from the Big Ten regarding football. So football, and I would assume that they're not going to change these rules when winter sports come around. But if you have a positive test, you've got to quarantine for 21 days. 21
days, yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long time.
That is a long time.
You end up with a guy, 2.5 weeks before the Big Ten's, testing positive. It's it's curtains. So that's pretty scary. And I don't know what the NSAC or any other conferences are going to do, but I know that's the Big Ten rule right now for football, and I don't expect it to change for winter sports. So
well, I tell you what, we're going to have to pray for the vaccine.
Yeah,
because I think that would make a huge difference if it does come out. I tell you what, it would be one of those that's
and we're talking the NCAAs there, but if you look at the NAIA, they got a full schedule. These guys are even wrestling open tournaments. They're doing all their stuff. I sure hope it works for them. I really do. I would love to see that work for them, but they're basically forging straight ahead, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I hope it does too. I guess I'm cautiously optimistic, and I would hope that I guess what I don't want to have happen is that we bore full speed ahead, and all of a sudden we get March come around again, and we're all sitting on our hands instead of heading to Birmingham, Alabama for D2 nationals or St. Louis for D1 nationals. Yep. So, that's what we really have to hope. But the beauty is, hey, there's wrestling happening. I mean, Super 32s had an awesome tournament last weekend in Hilton Head, South Dakota. South Carolina. Preseason nationals are going on this weekend. You got some great, kind of pro card events this weekend. So
Yeah.
hey, I was thinking about that when Randy was talking about seeing those guys in the room today. I thought, man, that's just got to feel like, gosh, this is the world's right.
It actually did.
This is kind of a normal. So, I saw Tristan Lura the other day, and I'm thinking, man, we got to get this season going. I'm talking to him. So I'm probably my default is going to be the optimist. So I'm hoping everything works great, and we're going to forge forward. So
we're going
I'm kind of at that same place. I watched the Super 32, and there are many times that entered my system going, they're getting a chance to wrestle. Yeah. And I was happy for them because so many of them look so good. And I watched several rounds before that and went back to matches just to check out conditioning. And I was amazed on how good some of these wrestlers looked. And this is, of course, a preseason national type situation with some of the best high school wrestlers in the nation. And I am impressed that there are some studs out there.
Those finals were awesome. There's a lot of
other good.
There was a lot of I was telling John before we went on, I got stranded in the UP of Michigan this weekend, and so I was stuck there. I was able to at least be able to watch some of the Super 32s and at least made me feel a little bit better. But
Randy, he got his deer in Wisconsin. That's why
Michigan. Yeah, I was
in Michigan.
Yeah,
you dog.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I really. Yeah,
wrecked a car getting it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really what you're looking for. It was a nice buck.
You load him up and take him home?
No, but someone else did. Yeah, you got to love the UP. Yeah, a guy came up to me and he said, "Everybody, you all right?" I said, I'm fine." "What are you gonna do with that deer?" I said, "I'm not doing nothing with them." He's like, "Well, want to help me get in my pickup?" I said, Absolutely. We lifted her up, put her right back up in there. So he at least had himself some back straps and who knows what else. So it was, but it was good to see Super 32, and I just am astonished at the talent and the skills that the high school wrestlers that we're seeing today have. I mean, it really is. It's phenomenal. So. I look forward to, kind of seeing what's going to happen. Now, you talk about these guys are getting a chance to wrestle. Some of those guys will not have a high school season.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Illinois is shut down. Wisconsin and Michigan, they got to wrestle with a mask on.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work. Right. And there's probably other states. I don't know. I think Ohio's still up and running, Pennsylvania.
Just to piggyback on that, I was telling those guys, put a mask on, see how that works. Yeah, that wasn't working real well.
No. That's I don't know how that'll work. I don't get it. And it's not just wrestling. Basketball players are gonna have to wear them too, and that's not gonna be all that great either. But we won't be able to keep them. Wrestlers won't be able to keep. I don't know how you keep them on. I guess we could get a bunch of the old face shields and put a mask on and put the face shield over the top.
the old nose broke mask.
Yep. They may make a comeback. It might be every match has one of those on.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my wife actually asked me an interesting question, which she's not like how could you say, a big time like wrestling person when it comes to I'm going to watch wrestling. She'll go watch Wheel of Fortune or whatever. But she actually asked the question, would Jax, who's a sophomore, my son, would he get more matches if he didn't wrestle high school? If he just went and wrestled club stuff or went to, all these national tournaments? And I said, yeah, he would, but we can't afford it. But I don't have the time. But it's interesting because I said it's going to happen. Well, there'll be national tournaments all over during the year this year because there's going to be 20 states at least that'll have good wrestlers that'll want to wrestle other places.
Yeah, I actually don't know. It's a great question. And I don't know if we will see those tournaments happen. I mean, teams like the, organizations like the guys that run the Super 32 out there in the East Coast or maybe in Reno or Denver or even in Rapid City where you're having guys coming from outside of the state.
That's coming up this weekend.
Yeah. And when you hit into the wrestling season, I don't know if we're going to see those things. Even like at, in Beersford, Legends of Gold could have tournaments. Mm-hmm. that it's a possibility. California is going to have no high school wrestling, right? So, I mean, that's I don't know what 20,000 wrestlers. Not that all of them are going to be going to look for matches around the country, but there's going to be a lot of the top, 20 ranked kids, and I mean, Illinois, California,
Pennsylvania,
Ohio. There's going to be a lot of those kids are going to be looking for places to go. I think Ohio's still okay to go.
New York,
New York, New Jersey, another one that could be tough.
Yep.
It'll be. We got to feel pretty blessed that we're going to have a shot here, and we do need to. I'm going to tell you all, just mask up, man, because we got to try to slow it down in these states too. I did come back from Michigan, and I probably, with the exception when I was in the grouse, when I was in the woods, most of the time I was there. But when I was out and about, everybody was masked up, and you just got to try to slow stuff down. And I'll do it to try to help these kids and kind of keep moving along. So
yeah. Now Hettinger County is still one of the lowest number of cases down there.
They're slow. I mean, they don't. Yeah,
You get that?
they're behind. They're always behind.
Behind.
But they come around in February.
We just get rolling then.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been fairly fortunate, but we're getting more and more cases, so we have to do exactly what you said, Billy. I mean, we gotta mask up. We've got to mask up and get our kids the opportunities. John, you were talking about the counties that are orange and everything, and limiting. And we talked about that this morning as far as matches and stuff, and about bringing parents in and this, that, and the other. And I think all our coaches were pretty much on board as far as, at this point right now, with the technology that's out there, and we can get some of this stuff live streamed and those types of things. We were all pretty much in agreement with going, the kids will be fine. We got to give them the opportunity.
Right.
And worry about mom and dad. We want mom and dads in the stands. Don't get me wrong. But at this point right now, I think you could take Tristan Lura, and he'd want to be on the wrestling mat.
Yeah, he'd wrestle in my garage. He don't give a crap who's watching. Yeah,
I've got Peyton Toohey, Kate Warps.
Right.
We stick a mat in the driveway. That's wrestling.
Right.
We just got to worry about the kids and try and get as many opportunities as we can for them. And that's the big part right now.
Well, what's interesting, when I grew up, when we hopped on a bus or my dad took kids to wrestling tournaments, parents didn't always follow.
Yeah.
We'd load a van. Well, I'll tell you a story. We loaded a van with 17 kids once. Just a van, just a 2-seat van with the old love shack.
In that van.
Love shack bed in the back and the shade carpet on the walls, and we held 17 kids from Napoleon in that van. We sat on each other on the floor and went to Minot to the state wrestling tournament for little kids. And I wouldn't trade that for anything, but what was interesting, there were no other parents there. That my dad was the only coach, and they'd go all over. But guess what? Nowadays, parents almost feel like they have, they follow it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And so it needs to go back to that guess what? You take the responsibility as a coach, and you coach kids, and they learn, and they have to go without their parents. Yeah. They have to become young men on their own instead of, getting their hands held. And it's
great point. And like you said, all the technology that's out there, Facebook Live and all the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, John, I guess I would take this moment to throw you and I both out there. But, if there's programs, there's teams around the state, whether they're in the western part of the state or in the central part or, south central, and they're looking for someone to come and help out and, put some of these things online. I think you and I would both.
Well, I tell you what, if I can get to their place, I would do it. I have no problem. I think most times I'll look at my schedule. If I have a Monday night, a Tuesday night, no duel, no nothing, I'd come on a Thursday. I would open it up anywhere. Because I can get anywhere. I get out about 3:30. By 5:30, I can get 2 hours from Bismarck. I know I can. So that would cover a pretty good zone.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just throw that out there. If there's some of these programs, reach out to us if we can help. It's it's not just the parents in the stands, right? We want to keep grandparents home and safe too. So, yeah, that's so.
I could teach. I could put a session on here and show people how to put it on Facebook. It's not that hard, guys. You can actually, with an iPad and a phone, do most things. I had a mom for several years just have a phone and basically, and then end up getting a little stand for it and had the phone there. At least they could see it, and it doesn't have to have commentary. In fact, as much as I want commentary for matches, that's for me. but honestly, I've watched a ton of matches where, guess what? The match, at least you can see your kids wrestle.
John, what we were talking about, guys and people in the stands, how good you get a pretty good following your home matches and the matches you go to down in that area.
See, the thing that pains me right now when you guys are talking about this is I'm finally getting the kids to show up to matches. We've had a singlet night the last few years, and we got kids in singlets in the stands going crazy, and we found a good following of parents going crazy, and we've even had close basketball games, and we still outnumbered them, and it's been an awesome experience for our kids and the dual atmosphere. And we wrestled West Lyon last year, and it came down right to the last match, and it was absolutely bananas in our gym, and kids were going crazy, and it was an awesome experience. So the whole COVID thing's really messing with that, but we got to do the thing to keep the kids on the mat. You know what I mean? And we have the NFHS live stream. That's what we're gonna roll this year. So we do have that capability, but it'll kind of float between two mats at one time. So it's not perfect, but it is something. It is something for grandparents. They can stay home. It's something for people that are of high risk. They can stay home. I don't know what we'll do attendance policy wise. We've been open so far. Our football games, our volleyball games have been open. I'm not sure bringing more people into our stands, but it's an exciting opportunity. And duels grow wrestling. That's my firm opinion. Duels grow wrestling. Individual tournaments, as much as I love them, and my kids going out and getting a bracket on Saturdays. There's one thing that doesn't bring fans.
You don't have a lot of casual fans coming and sitting for 10 hours in the stands.
Yeah, watch their kid wrestle one time, and then all of a sudden have to sit there for another hour and a half, especially if we're having a bad day. So, yes, we're getting followed, and we're getting crazy, and we're getting some awesome fans. And with girls, I don't know what's going to come out of that too. Are we going to get double the fans now? We're going to get double the parents. So. We're really excited for the opportunity. I don't know how it's going to look. This whole COVID thing is going to try to mess it up. But if I can have one plea to any of the South Dakota coaches, North Dakota coaches, anybody that's watching this, wrestle your kids. Don't dodge people. Don't run. Don't be scared. Don't wait for seating. Wrestle your darn kids. Put them out on the mat. That's what grows wrestling, not the fact of just hiding your stud until the end. Get your stud out there. Get them wrestling other studs. That's what people pay this $5, $6, $7 entry fee. Absolutely. That kills me as a wrestling coach when I have to go to a tournament and I got a stud that's supposed to match up with a stud. All of a sudden, no, we're not going to play that game. Come on. Be realistic. Let's go. That's why we're in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That loss really means nothing. I tell you what, it's going to grow more. The wrestler grow more by sometimes getting that loss or getting that competition. I so agree.
Yep. For sure.
And I think that's more, when I grew up, there wasn't avoiding as much as there is nowadays. And I kind of been, disappointed in some coaches because I know the coaches that do it, and I want to karate chop them just to say, quit it. I don't want to have a wrestle off between the other coach and myself,
It's more than a karate chop, I'll tell you that. We've had some experiences down here, man. It's wrestle your kids. Everybody's out for one reason. Try to get the gold medal at the end, but we might as well have a few throwdowns in between. So give us the matches we want. Wrestle the duels. Wrestle your kids. Wrestle your studs. Quit hiding. That's all I have to say.
Here's another thing in North Dakota, though. I honestly believe that seeding could be nothing this year. It could be a draw-in. Yeah. So let's just wrestle, because that might be the best way to do it this year. Guess what? You're drawn into the tournament, or you're going a 1 from one region versus the 8 on the other side. So it's based on region again, like we used to do going way back, Randy. You remember that?
Yeah, sure.
And that's what we might have to do, because I tell you what, those seeds, if you are facing the two best kids and they face each other 5-6 times in the West, somebody's going to have 3 losses, 4 losses, and someone in the East could have no losses. Yep. And so you've got the two best kids as the 2 and 3 in the state, and they face each other in the semis when honestly they should be on the opposite sides.
Opposite side. Yeah.
Yep. And so that needs to change there with the seeding. Just go 1, 8, and so forth. Because I believe, and I tell you what, we'll have to wait and see. Co-wrestler asked about postseason, regionals, and state wrestling tournament. Right now, we can't even predict anything. Let's get through the regular stuff and see what happens. Because honestly, if you can't have a region, what they're going to do there is go how you top 8 guys basically in the region, I'm guessing. Because if you can't have a tournament, we're just going to roll into the state. And maybe they'll open the state up to even more wrestlers. Like what if we had a state wrestling tournament where everybody got to go? How crazy would that be? Maybe you'd have a 50.
Sounds like the Class A tournament, Randy.
Yeah. That's kind of funny there, Bill. Yeah, because all the Class B schools have actually lost wrestlers sometimes at the regional, and Class A, it doesn't happen that often. Because in North Dakota, you actually get to qualify 3 extra wrestlers that are extras at the state wrestling tournament.
Yep.
And so let's say you've got 2 good 120 pounders, or a guy wants to cut down. You could have 2 guys in your state, take 1 and 2. And one's just a non-point getter. And so I wish Class B would have an opportunity to do that, but we've had just kind of people go, nah, just because some of those seasons would just dominate too much. You'd have, that would have extra guys. Somebody like a Lisbon would qualify 17 wrestlers, and it would make somebody like Ellendale get really, really mad. Or I'm just giving examples. What I mean? Yep. And
they were pretty rock solid last year, though.
Oh, no, Ellendale is going to be really tough. They've got lots of good wrestlers. Edgeley's got some. They have a great football team this year, and I tell you what, you can go region by region. It is going to be tough. This whole year, I looked at returning state placers as I'm doing my book, and every region has a ton of great wrestlers coming back. It all just depends how they split up, as people grow. That all matters there.
For sure.
So, John, you told me you lost 6 seniors last year. What's the team look like coming back this year?
I would say we're reloading. I don't like that phrase, but we bring back some studs, and we bring back some guys that were hidden by seniors. So I'm excited for the opportunity for these younger kids. I mean, in our race, Class B in South Dakota, we're all, as Scott said at the last Dakota Grappler live here, we're all chasing Canton.
Right.
So if we can chase Canton, then we can find a way to take a couple from them. That's going to be a win for us. We got some studs. Charlie Patton's a stud. He got 8th last year at 182 pounds. And that dude is a man-child. So if you can go back and you can look at his track wrestling matches, like there's not a lot of freshmen that are built like that kid.
No.
So we have some opportunities in the lower weights. We got some kids coming back from injuries. I mean, we're going to be pretty good. I mean, Canton is the team to catch, but we'll be pretty tough when it comes down to it.
How about you, Randy?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, Bill. Anytime you can return a kid that's state champ, and you got some other kids that definitely can get to the top of that podium. I mean, we've got some kids that can really wrestle. I'm excited because we got some the last couple of years we struggled filling the upper weights. And it's kind of, it's kind of taking its toll a little bit on us, like at state duels and stuff like that. But we're going to have those weights filled this year. We're going to get, we got bigger kids coming now. The funny thing is, man, I'm going to struggle to fill that 106-pound weight class. I mean, that's going to be a tough weight class for me to fill. As far as that goes, you're gonna have.
We got like 10 of them. We'll trade you like a middle one for a little one.
Well, I'm not gonna. The thing about it is, John. Sorry, man. The middle guys I have are pretty rock solid. So I'm gonna keep them.
You can send them down. I told you we got 10 little guys.
So I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, I think right now Velva's got to be the team that everybody looks to beat this year. I know Lisbon's going to be awful strong, and Carrington's got a great core group back. Pembina County's got some really quality kids in there. South Border, they're just going to reload. They're just going to throw a ton of kids out there again. But I think Velva, in my opinion, I just think they've got a lot of good seniors.
It's been a while since Velva's been on top. This is their opportunity. I looked at their team and returning points and just positioning. And I don't know how they spread out either, but they had a bunch in the middle that are going to be tough, and their football team's tough again this year. And I keep reading their names of their wrestlers who are the studs on the team. But no, this is an opportunity that they have that I tell you what, that
they're rock solid from last year from 45 on up.
Yeah,
and they were young, and some of those juniors, they're going to be, depending on where those kids fit in.
Well, I watched them improve a lot because I watched them. I think Bill might have been there too, the early Minot tournament last year, and that's Class A schools, and they were there's a couple Class B schools, but they really from that time on, it looked like their sophomores and their juniors really stepped it up as the season went. I watched them really green at the beginning of the year. And it was no doubt when I watched them late in the season, I'm going, oh my, have they improved? Yeah, I was really impressed with what they were doing.
Yeah. But like I said, Bill, I'm excited. We won't have a senior on the team, and but my junior and sophomore groups, man, they're rock solid. They can go. They wrestle pretty well. So they're hungry. They're ready. Yeah. So this sucks.
Yeah. How about John? Now tell people who your rivals are down there, like in your dual situation.
Parkston's got to be there, right?
Well, Parker and Parkston aren't far away, but they're in different regions. And
we finally clipped them the last few years. We've got after them pretty good. They beat us down pretty good the first 5 years I was in. The last 2 years we've got after them pretty good. So they're kind of down. We're about sick and tired of those MCM Cougars with Scott Andel. I can tell you that. We're gonna hope to take one this year from them. Canton they're the tops, man. Yeah. They're really, really good, and they're really tough. They got the number 10 rated high school wrestler at 106. That Ace and Rice kid came in this year, so it's the rich get richer with them. Howard will be tough with Corbin Surratt as their head coach. Phillip's good if we get to see them. Winter's tough. We like to wrestle Marion Freeman. We like to wrestle anybody in our area that's going to give us a run. Bonham Scotland, we got to get them back from last year. We got a lot of rivals that we want a piece of. We want a piece of them bad. So anybody that's willing to step on the mat, anybody that send me an email, we'll come wrestle you. We want to wrestle everybody. So
I'd like to get down to the little. I'd like to
get
down
Parker,
to the little
we get Hedinger, and we'll get Pembina County North all meet in Carrington. We'll have a weekend.
Be there.
Hey, I'll talk to my AD. I told you he's a wrestling guy, so we'll be up there.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Who's going to have to travel the farthest?
I think probably we will.
I'm not 100% sure that you might not be further.
I'm thinking we're the farthest away, but that's okay.
Hedinger is in the way southwest corner of the state, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Pembina County's in Canada.
Yeah.
They might not be able to come across.
Yeah.
Why don't we just meet in Canada?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
What were you saying, John?
No, I was thinking, I'd like to go down to that Little B. Do you guys go to Little B in Parkston? Have you been in that?
We don't attend Little B. I'm not sure if that's the same weekend as our tournament for sure. I can't remember for sure, but Little B's not what it used to be. That's for sure. Come to Parker and watch some real wrestling.
Okay.
I like it.
Well, I went to McCook last year over Christmas, and that was one heck of a tournament. And I'm hoping that because they've got 2 different gyms and they can have 4 mats. So I'm hoping they can have 8 teams. Then is how you're kind of saying it. If they can have 4 mats.
Yeah, Scotty runs a pretty good show down there. Unfortunately, we'd like to go in there and win that thing. Maybe we'll have a chance one of these years. But MCM's a tough tournament. It's a good one because you get to see Phillip, you get to see Donnelly's kids out there. You get to see a couple more groups of kids that are pretty darn good. So that's a really great tournament to go to.
Canton.
Hey John, I'm gonna really age myself. Okay. Matt Donnelly at Phillip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an assistant coach at Dickinson State University for 3 years, and I coached Matt Donnelly.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah,
So
there
you
you
taught him
go.
all
There
that
you
roller
go.
poly stuff on the mat where
Hey,
you throw legs in
not-
and throw a half in from anywhere and all that stuff, or what?
Well, the leg riding stuff we worked really hard on.
Holy
we
cats!
worked
That
really
guy
hard
can-
on that.
His kids are laying on their
Yeah.
side and they got us upside down and on our shoulders, and oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing until you wrestle Hedinger.
Yeah.
God dang it. Don't give my secrets away, Bill.
No, Matt's boy is going to be really tough. He's a senior this year. And
Oh, yeah.
he'll probably be a 220 pounder, maybe.
Yeah,
No.
he's a big kid, 95, 220 probably. Yeah, he's tall.
Oh, really
Oh,
tall.
they've all been tall.
Yeah,
All of
his-
his kids.
Yeah, he should be the number one ranked kid at probably 195, I think, in the polls down there. But no, we're almost at an hour. Imagine that. I just looked up and we're 55 plus minutes. No, Bill, I want you to ask up more questions if you got any. If not, then I would like to have Bill give us a little college updates. Besides, if you have anything from or it's already been 3 weeks since the big tournament of
Senior nationals.
senior nationals.
Yeah, we kind of
didn't get to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I could listen to these guys talk all night, so I don't need to get too involved. But
Okay.
this weekend we do have some pretty big stuff going on. Flow Wrestling's got their 195 pound 8-man bracket.
That's gonna be
That'll be
awesome.
going on Saturday.
Who do you have, Bill? Who are you picking?
I'm picking Gabe Dean.
We-
So
That's who I was picking, but okay.
I'm going with the dark horse. I'm going with Keith Gavin.
See, when they first came out, I picked Gavin and Gabe Dean in the finals. Well, now they're on both the same side of the
Yeah, I
bracket.
know
so-
that sucks, but you know what?
that will be tough. So I surely wouldn't shock me if Gavin ends up there. But
Yeah.
there'll
Should we
be.
make a little wager?
Oh,
I'm
Who
a
do you
betting
got?
man. I got a problem, I think. So
who do you
I'm a
have?
Miles Martin guy.
You
know
know
what? I'm having a problem with I like Miles Martin, but I just can't unsee what I watched when he wrestled David Taylor. And I know none of these guys are David Taylor, but that was a tough deal to watch. So I could surely see him coming if he's ready to go. I think
the old guys have just a little bit more.
guys like
they
Randy, they watch the old guys in the room and they just
Yeah.
have all them old guy
They have some
tricks.
tricks, man.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Keith Gavin and some inside trips. Someone's going to their back. Gabe Dean's gonna put an underhook in and walk you everywhere you want to go. So
Exactly.
it'll be interesting.
And win 1-0.
And well, maybe he scored some points at senior nationals with the exception of against Nate Jackson, who's also going to be really
Yeah,
good.
he's going to be really good too.
And he's probably going to end up being the one. Well, I would say Nate Jackson comes out at the bottom, although him and Sammy Brooks have had some really, really good matches. But then Miles Martin is there. John thinks Miles Martin is going to come out. So we got a Gabe
Big
Dean.
Miles Martin guy.
You got a Gabe
Yeah, I
Dean.
like the old school. I like Jordan Burroughs over Dake. I like Jordan Burroughs over David Taylor. I like Jordan Burroughs over Valencia.
Quiet.
I'm going to take the new school in this one, boys.
You're gonna say, okay.
Well,
Don't embarrass yourself in front of all these people. There's 15, 20 people watching.
That's all right.
I looked at the bracket earlier today, and I was trying, Gabe Dean is who I thought was coming out at the top, but then I could not pick on the other side if it was going to be Jackson or Martin on the bottom. And God, I was doing the bracket. I probably put Nate Jackson in the finals against Gabe Dean and Gabe Dean winning.
So we got two Gabe Deans, we got a Keith Gavin, and we got Miles Martin. Well, could be.
Hey, we can run it back when Miles Martin wins this thing.
Oh no, you guys will be going.
We'll be coming. Yeah. See, this is the problem. He's a Buccaneers. Oh no, he's not a Buccaneers fan. He's a Tampa Bay fan. It's
Randy,
it'll
what's
be
your
fun.
football team? It's not in the background.
That's the 49ers. Oh,
No,
Randy's.
Randy, you have a football team you follow, or are you down like a Vikings fan like me?
Yeah, I'm a Viking fan.
Yeah, I can't help it. We're stuck.
I've given up on the NFL. I really don't care anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I-
So
I'll watch it, but
Yeah. So that's
The
what we
legs-
have going on Saturday. That'll be fun.
Then
You
you
know,
got
that
Penn
winner
State.
gets 20 grand. So
20
that's
grand.
the kind of stuff we like to see happening. They're going to have another 8-man bracket like this in December, and that'll have 150 pounders. So we'll see who ends up there. I heard today that now the Hawkeye Wrestling Club is also
Iowa.
having an event on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
With a bunch of good matches there too. We got some exciting with Austin DeSanto, Bryce Meredith. That'll be fun. Spencer Lee, Zach Sanders probably won't be as exciting as we'd like, but it's fun. Always fun to watch both those guys wrestle, honestly. 2 good girls women's matches, Sarah Hildebrandt and Aaron Golston.
There we go, Mr. Miller, Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller. Sammy Brooks doesn't lose this.
Well, he could he
Somebody could make a comeback.
Twice, Sammy Brooks has been down by 9 against Nate Jackson and come back and won. So we can't. You surely can't count him out, but no. I'm gonna. So
me too.
I was too because I picked him to lose.
Well, now he's got to get by both Nate Jackson and Miles Martin. We hear that Miles Martin's the savior. Yeah. So it'll be fun. That'll be
here's what's interesting is I forgot to even look who's wrestling the Iowa thing, and I've been looking for that for almost a month. I get to see that thing.
Well, you got Jaden Ironman and Kenichivili.
That's gonna be a great match.
Kemmerer and Tommy Gant. That'll be a good match.
Yep.
You do have Cassiope and Gwizdowski. I think Gwiz will dominate that, but that'll be. I mean, it's fun to watch to be able to see these. I think to me, I really look forward to seeing the DeSanto Meredith match.
Me too.
Meredith looked just absolutely great in the Penn State match last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. So, was that was last week? I was in Michigan. Yep. So, there's going to be. So it's fun to see. This is one of the positives of the COVID deal happening. I think this may have been that kickstart for some of these events that we've always kind of been hoping would happen and give guys a chance to stay around the sport. I heard today that the Badger Wrestling Club's going to get Badger RTC going to get involved and put one of these on. So I have not seen any matches, of course, yet, but it sounds to me like we get a chance to watch Seth Gross wrestle. Maybe we'll get a chance. We're gonna get to see
Kyle
wrestle.
I hope so. He's super excited. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, it'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. So I think that'll be. I don't know when is that in November. November 14th.
No, I think it's November 23rd. I think they're looking at.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, I look forward to that one too. And then, then we still got. It's wild when you kind of say, "Jesus, we got all these going to happen," and then we still have, Burroughs and Zahid. So that's going to be another, and I think that's going to be. I don't know who else is going to be on that card, but I think that'll be a pretty good card too. So,
and then Randy, why don't you give us an update about your son a little bit? Maybe he doesn't want to be talked about, but I know there's a lot of people out there interested in how he's doing out in Wisconsin. Yeah,
he's doing well. Is doing well. They're training at the RTC right now. Obviously, they can't train at the facilities at Camp Randall, so they're training at the regional training center. He's actually what they're doing now. I think there's six guys that are going to go wrestle at junior nationals and the under 23 nationals on the 14th and 15th of November. So I'm going to be going down. Yep, I'm going to be going down to Omaha and watch that. So they've been training hard. Obviously, they're training freestyle at this point right now. He kind of threw around he asked me the other day. He's like, "Dad, maybe I should enter both divisions, enter Greco and freestyle." And I said, "Go for it, man. Wrestle both of them." I don't know if they're gonna. He's going to go to 57 kilos. So that's going to be, he's doing well though on his weight. So, but I mean, he's making some great gains. He's having a great time right now. He's adjusted really well. And he's just so happy that they're back on the mat and they're wrestling. And They've got some great kids in there. I ask them all the time about Braxton Amos. How's Braxton? He looks good, Dad, man. He's tough. And, so they have some really good high-end recruits that they've got coming in. And, but he's doing well. I mean, like I said, he's concentrating on the competition on the 14th and 15th of November. And is
now, do they put him in
it.
pods and groups of who are the guys he's wrestling with right now?
Right now he's wrestling with Aiden Medora. He's wrestling with Ethan Rotundo, Eric Barnett, and he'll go with Seth every couple days. He goes with Seth. So that's basically who he's wrestling with at this point right now.
Oh, good.
But it's going good.
I think just a local flavor. I think Northern State's going to have a half a dozen guys or so going down to junior nationals too.
Oh, awesome!
UWWs,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be good to see. So, I knew there was something happening that weekend, and I was thinking of that, but now I remember that's what it is. And then the UW the Badger RTC deals after that. So that'll be that'll be good. So are we kind of thinking he's going to be 25-pounder?
Well, actually, he's going to go to 57 kilos for this, and then he'll wrestle 133 for this season.
He will. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of thought he'd be a 33-pounder. He said he's going to 57. That's for for us Americans. That's 125 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
and a half.
And a half. Yep.
And a half.
And a half.
Bill, you surprised me because I would have had to get rid of our calculator.
125.5.
Yeah. Well, I made that once. I was in 4th grade. No, I was bigger than that. I was older than that. I was in 7th grade.
5th grade.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, guys, we're heading toward the end, so I'm going to ask my quick fire questions for each one of you just to get some feel. Some people love to hear these, and I've got comments. I had emails coming that they love to hear a little bit about you guys, just on simple, easy questions. So if you guys don't mind, John and Randy, I'm going to do the same questions as I did the last couple of weeks for some of these guys. So first question I got, and both you guys can respond. So I know, John, you've been muting. You could go in and out. That's perfectly fine. So my quick fire questions for tonight. First I'm going to start off with is, which one did you pick, Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade.
Probably Gatorade.
Okay. Popsicles or dilly bars?
Dilly bars.
Popsicles.
What's interesting is I always love to hear that one because I love dilly bars. During the wrestling season, I never ate them. I ate popsicles, so I don't know. I don't know how that goes, but okay. Saturdays or Sundays?
Saturdays.
Depends on who's winning, college football or the NFL. I like the Hurricanes or the 49ers, so depends on who's winning and who is not winning.
Pretty good. Okay, Mama's boy or Rebel?
Mama's boy.
Oh yeah, Mama's boy. She comes to all the Parker matches and takes pictures for the kids, so you know where I lie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Fast-paced or consistently slow?
Consistently slow. Fast-paced.
Did you stutter for purpose there?
Fast-paced.
I'm not Scott Andel, but I would say I'm a step down. So you can figure out what that is.
Well, I tell you what, you race cars there, Randy. I'm pretty sure you're fast-paced.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you more of a mental athlete or a physical athlete in high school and in college?
I was a physical athlete in college. No, in high school, and a mental athlete in college.
Mental.
Okay. How about your athletes? That you are coaching right now, are you on the mental aspect? Do you coach that way, or you try more physical?
Mental.
Got to be a little bit of both. I mean, I feel like we're the best conditioned team in the state, so maybe border on the edge of being physical.
Okay. Dan Gable or Cale Sanderson?
I'm going to let John answer that first.
You can't do that to me.
Yep.
Can I segue to Jordan Burroughs?
Oh, okay.
I'll go with Sanderson. I'm a Sanderson guy.
Okay.
Dan Gable all the way.
Okay. Favorite number?
2.
5.
Okay. Well, you got the 5 for the big throw and 2 for a takedown.
That's right.
I betcha. Okay. Favorite move to show, Randy? Oh, both of you, I guess.
Mine, I'm a front headlock guy.
Okay.
I like to hit a high C, and it used to be called a buck finish, but now I'm in Parker, so it's a pheasant finish. We get them up, we elevate them pretty high up off the air. It's a crowd favorite. So yeah.
I don't know. Heavyweights love to show the high C. I don't know why that is. Big
Hey,
guys.
now
Yeah.
you're talking my language.
Yes, definitely. Best wrestler you ever wrestled? Now
Best
you're
wrestler.
Now here's what's interesting. You're
High school or college?
either one, or both if you want, because here's what's interesting. Aren't you the Randy Lewis area? Did you ever wrestle Randy?
I did not. No, I did not. But he
Okay.
came to Dickinson many times. He wrestled. Actually, Randy Lewis was on a tear. I think at one point he hadn't been taken down for ungodly amount of matches in a row. And we had a kid by the name of Bernie Andriosh, and they were wrestling in the semifinals of the Dickinson State College Invitational, which used to be huge. And what does Bernie do right away? Bernie goes out and takes him down, and the crowd goes crazy. And the worst thing about it is it pissed him off so bad that he literally, and we didn't have Tech Falls back then, he literally scored like 30 points on Bernie before he pinned him. And Bernie came off and said, I should have never done that. And we were like, dude, you did it. You were the one that did it. And so that was kind of a classic thing.
Okay.
We had the Shear boys came up from that, and the Mobridge kids, and oh man, it was tough. That was a good tournament. Toughest kid for me in high school, I'd have to say a kid by the name of Al Lawrence from Mobridge, South Dakota. Al went on, wrestled at the University of Nebraska, 3-year starter for him there. He was tough. He was good. We wrestled a couple times and split, but I had a lot of really, really good Scotty Nolan, Jeff Schumacher. I wrestled some great kids in high school, but for some reason, Al Lawrence just sticks out in my mind because Al was, he was one of those guys that was pretty damn tough. There was another kid out of South Dakota at Rapid City. His name was Mark Crossman. He was a pretty damn good kid too. And another kid out of South Dakota with these Madden boys from Rapid City Central, Dan Madden. These guys were tough. They were great, out of state guys, in-state guys. John Kavanagh, definitely was a thorn in my side from mine in high school. He really was. 8 feet tall, 119 pounds. And man, I'll tell you what, So college-wise.
I love the names. It's awesome.
Yeah. College-wise, I had some great matchups with Scotty Nolan, when he was at Bismarck State and at UND. But probably the toughest guy that, was Dave Harvey from Northern State. Dave kind of dashed my hopes of being a 2-time national champ my senior year, but I wrestled him 4 times, lost to him that time. That was the only time. But Dave was a fierce competitor, and I remember those days very, very well. Some great guys. Steve Chevalier was a dominant guy at Bismarck State. Loved having matches with him. I could go on and on. I had some great competitors, so it was, hey, man, I just love the competition. I loved, hey, John, like you were saying, step out there, put your best guys out. I loved it, man. Let's go. Let's see what happens. So that's mine, John. Sorry, took up some time.
That's right.
You're good. You Vikings fans, you're probably gonna appreciate this one. My toughest opponents all the time was a guy named Riley Reef.
Oh yeah,
He might play left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings. You split with that Al guy. I tell you, I never split with Riley. There was no win on my win column there. So Riley Reef was my toughest opponent.
That's pretty good because and he's another one that honestly he didn't wrestle his senior year. He went and he was going to go get ready to play some football for Iowa.
Well, didn't his younger brother do the same thing?
His both of his younger brothers are studs.
Yeah, but didn't they do the same thing? Weren't they like a couple times state champs for Parkston and then didn't compete their last year?
Yeah.
Because one's at Iowa playing football, right? Or were they both at Iowa?
The middle one's at Iowa playing football. The youngest one, I don't think, went to Iowa.
Yeah.
Nope. Great traditions. No, those were the questions for you. I always love hearing your guys as it goes.
Hold up, John. I'm going to throw one shout out to a guy that, man, he actually, when I was a sophomore in high school, was a driving force for me. His name was Mike Elm from Minot Ryan High School. And I'll tell you what, that guy kind of changed who I was because I wanted to beat Mike Elm so bad that I changed the way I trained. I changed you know what?
Wow.
And I never did beat Mike Elm, but I beat guys that beat Mike Elm. So that was that. Yeah. Well, so I'm throwing that out there.
That's
hey,
good.
Mike, he's been in Minot out on the radio or on the TV for a long time. If he's watching, Mike Elm, hi.
That is pretty
Scotty
cool.
Jeff. Yeah.
Definitely. No, there are certain guys. I faced one of the Wall Ravens going way back from South Dakota in a national tournament. And we faced in the match to basically place. And it was probably one of his last losses. But he went on and he was tough as nails. I tell you what, that was probably, and you got to think back to early freestyle days. This was probably a 20-19 match.
Nice.
And going back and forth. Lincoln McElravy, his brother, I wrestled him. Trying to think of some other guys. High school wise, I was actually, I wrestled Terry Troy Steiner every day in practice. Every day. But here's what's interesting: they were smaller than me, so honestly, I would wrap them up and kind of squeeze them quite a bit, and just because I was bigger, they were 30 and 35 pounder, and I was wrestling 52 our senior year. But what did they do? They never avoided me. They wanted to wrestle somebody bigger in the room every day. So guess what? I had to wrestle fast and strong. And if they got on top of you, you better already have your shoulders taken out because they're going to crank you in a half. And I wasn't going to go over, but I'll guarantee they pissed me off a lot.
Oh yeah.
And they weren't going to let me up from bottom. So I didn't like getting down on bottom. There were people going to throw legs on me because I wasn't going to handle that. No, I like to mention the names. I tell you what, I had a motivating force. When I was a sophomore in high school, his name was Steve McCormick. And Steve McCormick, Mr. Wrestler in 1987. And there was no doubt after I didn't wrestle him my sophomore year, but I watched him. And he was one of the guys that I wanted to be like. He was like, you remember Vision Quest? And you had the guy that was walking up, shoot. And that was Steve McCormick to me. That because Steve McCormick was naturally built, he looked like Shoot. And when Vision Quest, oh man, that is the guy. That was my Vision Quest.
There you go.
Honestly, and I will give him the credit for all the extra work that I put in. And I ended up losing in the state finals my senior year, but I had 4-1 going to the last period, picked down. That was a mistake and got turned twice and lost. And I should have beat the Mr. Wrestler his senior year, and I choked. In that sense, you have all that confidence, but when the coach went like this, I go, no. Nope, you've never done it. No, but I tell you what.
And Gumsy, you wrestled on some hellacious teams there. Ooh.
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't take that away from anybody. Our coaching staff, how they kept us together, because we honestly in the room, there were a lot of times where we were this close to beating each other up because there was. We wanted it so bad and worked so hard. There was blood and tears in that wrestling room every week. Perfect. I mean, if you ever know the intensity, and we're great friends. It wasn't like one of those things where you hated each other, but we didn't want to ever give up. Here's the thing, and I regret this. I quit football to just wrestle my junior year in high school. And it was one of those things because guess what? Terry and Troy Steiner had a key to the room, and they were going to go in after school and wrestle. and there was no coaches. So we did so many different things. We did takedown drills for an hour straight where we just get in a group and rotate an hour straight of just takedown. And sometimes you get stuck in the middle until you take somebody down. Imagine that. And you didn't want we actually at one time, a half hour straight kept Terry Steiner in the middle where he was not getting out. We would take him down and he would just fire at you and do whatever. And no, get took down and take down. We just rotate. Yep. Nobody was going to give up and stop. We did one where you're going to shave hair off your legs. If you got taken down by everybody in the group more than twice, it was an inch of hair off your legs got shaved off. And we did the Dan Gable push-up stuff where you'd flip a card over and you'd do push-ups. We did almost anything possible as a group to get ready for our junior and senior year because there was nobody that was going to touch us our junior year. And then a senior, for sure, nobody's going to touch us. And you just had to have that attitude. And it wasn't coach driven. It was athlete driven. And I give Terry and Troy Steiner, they had a motivation factor that was higher than I've ever seen out of anybody they were influencers. Yep. They influenced other people. This Carl Lemke, who honestly, when he came out late, probably as a 8th grader, 9th grader, and he ended up being a state finalist this senior year, but he worked his butt off. Trent Gillis, all of these names. Trent Gillis' brother wrestled down in Iowa, national, an All-American.
Casey.
Yep. Casey was only a 6th grader, and he could have made our varsity team when he was a 6th grader. But we had, you go back to Mike Seeger, who was very young at that time. And I can name the names forever, but the whole thing is once you get that chemistry going and you want kids to work, you cannot deny them an opportunity to work. Yeah. And that's the thing, which is, as a coach or as a fan, you watch and you see, like you said, things were just right in the room today. How can you deny kids that opportunity to find the mental capacity to work hard? Yeah. And I truly believe that work will get you anywhere in life. If you can find that, and wrestling does give that to kids, to find that inside drive to do it. I don't know. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Definitely.
Amen.
Well, my last words tonight is, guess what? Promote the sport. Bill, got some last words?
Watch wrestling.
Okay. Randy?
It's a great time of the year. The best time of the year. We're going to get back on the wrestling mats, and I feel bad for the Montana guys. They're going to start about 3 weeks later from their regular start time. But guys, coaches like Mike Etchemendy and Guy Melby and those guys, they're just going to rock and roll. They're going to make things really. They're going to do the best they can, and obviously they're always super tough. But yeah, it's the greatest time of the year. Let's get some wrestling going, and let's keep our kids safe, and let's do what we got to do.
Awesome,
John. Man. It was great meeting you, man.
Great meeting you, man. I just want to give a shout out to my assistant coaches, Coach Jason Bridges, Brandon Jensen, Josh Casperson, all those guys that go with me all year long. Give a shout out to all my athletes. I know some of them are watching right now. I just got a text from my mom saying one of their heads just exploded because I mentioned them on the show. So I want you guys, and I want to give a shout out to you guys. You're growing wrestling. You care about wrestling, and that's the biggest thing we can do. And I'd love to come on whenever you need me. I'd love to talk wrestling with you guys whenever. This is an awesome opportunity to continue to grow this great sport. The sport is the epitome of what life is right here. Yeah. You get knocked down, you get back up, you pay your bills. The bills keep coming, keep going to work. It's the same thing with wrestling. You get taken down, so on and so forth. You guys know exactly what's going on. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate what you guys do. I appreciate you continuing to grow wrestling. I can't say thank you enough. It's awesome to meet you, Randy, Bill, John. Finally get to talk to you.
Yep.
Been reading your magazine, looking at your website for years, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So I really appreciate it. I'm humbled by this opportunity, to say the least. So thank you guys very much.
Billy, good seeing you, man.
You too.
Keep working.
See you down the road.
Keep working. Yep.
I will have you guys on more. In fact, here's what's interesting. I kind of holding myself back. I would go on 2-3 times a week, but I'm trying to go. I'm just going to burn some people out. So we'll see you as the wrestling season goes. John, if you need anything, holler. South Dakota. I know that I wish there was more people like me that would just promote the sport. That happens in both areas. People always ask me, are we competitors? And I said, that's not what my business has ever been about. It's about promoting the sport. So
pro wrestling.
The more people, the better. If there is another person, like somebody just went on Twitter the other day and is a ND Class B, go over there and check out what he's doing. He's trying to promote Class B wrestling over on Twitter. If there's people in South Dakota that are doing this, contact me. I will help promote them. I will push you guys out there. Okay. And of course, Randy's technology is going off everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. So hey, thanks for everything, Johnny, and guys, and peace out. Let's keep things safe and let's wrestle.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, good night, everybody.
See ya.
Dakota Grappler again. Go promote the sport. Subscribe. We're gonna need to see more people on here all the time. You guys have a great night. Thanks.